So, for the last year or so, I have been producing content for social media. I started my blog, Medieval History Buff. That has now had to shut down and be moved over to another blog because of changes that were made to the platform. But I shall start that up again soon. I've also, on the back burner, also started a podcast, which I'll get back to in due course. And thirdly, also on the sideline at the moment, I'm going to start a kids history channel on YouTube. I've not got round to that yet, but I will. But now I have two main priorities. Firstly is to continue my YouTube channel, which is growing bit by bit. My main YouTube channel, I should say. And the second priority now is to focus on writing and producing books. I've already started to experiment with self-publishing. I produced 3 or 4 ebooks, which have had some success. They've had about 100 or so downloads between them. I'm now starting to look at paperbacks, which will go onto Amazon, and I've already done that on a couple of occasions. And one of those books you can see on screen now is called Imperial: The Lives of the Holy Roman Emperors, from Charlemagne to Henry II, who was emperor in the early 11th century. And he's not to be confused with the English king, Henry II, who was King of England in the late 12th century. This is the first of what will be 2 books on this subject. The second will cover all the emperors after Henry II up to Charles V. The Holy Roman Empire goes as late as the early 19th century, but I'm going to focus on the medieval emperors, and Charles V is a good cut-off point for that, I think, as he's the last really significant medieval emperor. What I aim to do in these 2 books is to break down the lives of the Holy Roman Emperors reign by reign, and to actually make it a personal story about these emperors, because I have to say the general content that I have found on the Holy Roman Empire has not been very good. It's either been very stuffy academic stuff, it's been books that have been too expensive or badly written. What I've tried to do is keep these books brief and to the point, which is, if you've watched any of my YouTube videos, it's kind of my style. And as I've indicated already, and many times before on my social media, I like to personalise history. I like to make it about the people rather than, forming opinions. I like history to be a story that just tells itself, really, by documenting the events that happened and letting, whether it's readers, listeners, viewers, whatever, to draw their own conclusions. I don't like ramming my own opinions down people's throats. So that is what this first book, is going to try to do. It's going to be a documentation of the events in each reign. I think it's quite informative. I think people can take a lot out of it. It's, as I said, it's relatively brief. It's about 50 pages. I'm quite content. I think it's well written. Is there room for improvement? Probably. But this is the early stages of my, hopefully, what we can call a career as an author. So, yeah, I hope people can take an interest in it. I thought I'd kind of do a quick video on this, just to let people know what my intentions are, with this book and for the future. I think the early signs are encouraging. As I mentioned, the chap in America talking about one of my books is a good sign. I think going forward, what I have to do is to try and organise myself and prioritise certain things. That's why I've sidelined 2 or 3 things for the time being. I'm not going to forget about it. There are actually videos that I've also got in the pipeline that I said I'd do 2 or 3 months ago that are still to be done. Ivan the Terrible, I've still not got round to. He's going to be shelved for the time being. Elizabeth I is going to be shelved for the time being. So I'm going to concentrate on producing videos that grow the channel as quickly as possible. So I've also got time to write books for both adults and kids. It's exciting, but it's also going to be a challenge as well. So there's going to be a lot of hard work ahead. But I do hope that people will see the value in a book like this, because I don't think there's too many out there on this particular subject that have been written like this.